Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I try to suck less through better gear. And today we're talking about the Outerspace Living. It's been a while since I've ridden this, and while it hasn't changed too much over the years, I thought it would be a good idea to update the review with our newer format, bringing the table reviews back, and just give it a little update with its slightly different construction and better base. I rode this with Union Atlas bindings and Ride Deadbolt boots. I got this in some good groomers and some pretty firm but somewhat fair groomers this time around. In the past, I've ridden this in powder, in all kinds of groomers. So I have a good idea of what this board's about before I even got on it. When it comes to sizing, this 156 fits me really well. This would be the size I would buy when it comes to buying a mountain freestyle board. Now let's talk snowboard dating app, some things that'll make you want to swipe right. This is light, this is poppy, and it has good pop for this mellow amount of camber. It's very forgiving, but not boring. It's easy to butter, has a good base for the price point. Some things that'll make you want to swipe left. If you want a more springy camber feel on a turn, this isn't for you. This can be pretty chattery in hard, uneven snow, but not unbearable, and very bucky and bouncy in soft, uneven snow. It's probably its worst feature. Also, if you want a lot of directional float, you like to set your board back in powder, this isn't a good choice. And if what I reviewed appeals to you here, then go to our sponsor, Blower Board Shop. They're a snowboard only shop, and they're helping us bring honest, objective content to you. So check them out, click through the links, and buy something from them. We'd appreciate it. So when it comes to shape, this is a true twin. It has a very centered stance and a very centered true twin feel. When it comes to camber, there is a very mellow camber going just past the inserts and then a lot of early rise before the nose and tail. It makes this very forgiving, very easy to skid a turn, but this camber between the feet gives you that camber-like stability that doesn't auto spin on you like boards with rocker in the middle have. So it's good one footing off the chair, skating around, going down a long flat cat track. This is gonna flat base pretty well. It has a very similar feel in all conditions camber wise. It's never gonna really change its personality on you. When it comes to edge hold, this is just a basic old side cut. If you want a little more grip, you could go Mercury because that death grip in the middle helps. Has a similar camber profile, but it has slower turn initiation, so that could be a deal breaker there. This board just didn't grip as well as some of the boards did on that firm day I tested it this time around, and it was the same in the past too. This just isn't a very good hard snow specialist. Better for good conditions. So let's talk Outerspace Living Flex. You can see there's a nice easy give to this. There's a good pop to it, especially for having such a mellow camber between the feet. If I go down to the tail, you can see there's a decent amount of give there. It's stiffer between the feet, but not too stiff. And if you factor in the nose, it's the same as the tail. Overall, I find this very easy to ollie. It's not the poppiest board out there, but it pops higher than the camber profile would lead you to believe, and it's a very easy board to butter. This poppy, light personality is great in good conditions. It'll just be a dream. In hard, micro bumpy snow, I was surprised at how well it did. It did feel a little chattery, but it's manageable in hard, uneven snow. In soft, uneven snow, especially thicker spring snow where it can get really messy, or really wet, thick, uneven powder, I think that's the Achilles heel for the Outerspace Living and most Capita boards out there, except for maybe the black Snowboard of Death that I've tried recently. This just bucks and bounces around and takes me out of my line, and then I get off this board, try another board, and that board does fine. So that's just one of the drawbacks to having a light poppy ride like this. When it comes to pointing it, you can go fast to get through a traverse, straight line down a hill to make a long flat track. You can go fast into a kicker of any size. But if you really want to point it on the mountain, this isn't your board. The tip and tail are going to chatter a lot. You get that clown shoe effect. It's just not going to be the kind of board you want to get if you go fast. The side cut won't fight you on a straight line, but it's just not a straight liner. When it comes to base glide, it's pretty good for this price point. I really like what Capita is doing with their bases. They've really improved exponentially over the last decade. There's a little bit of structure here. It's my type of structure. I actually like this mellower structure better than what you see on the Mercury, the Black Snowboard of Death, the Megadeth, and the Mega Merc. They have a lot more structure. I think this does better midwinter, but those bases, even though they're a little grabby sometimes in harder snow and good, clean, perfect midwinter snow, they do a lot better in wet snow because it has all those grooves. It really doesn't get sticky and slow down as much. Bottom line, it's hard to do better at this price point. Capita's doing a great job here. When it comes to turning, I love the turn initiation here. It's really fast, it's medium fast, bordering on fast. It goes wherever I want it. If you're in the trees and you want to make tight turns on a twin, this is pretty good. I like more setback directional boards because you don't have that tail behind you to get through the trees, especially on powder days. But as far as a twin goes, this does very well in bumps, tight tree lines, tight spots. When you get this over on edge, you're not gonna get a lot of camber spring out of the turn. You could do a lot better with even softer boards like the Outsiders, or boards with a similar flex like the Indoor Survival. That's mostly camber. They just have a lot more pop and spring out of the turn, but they're a lot more technical and they don't float as well in powder. I think for having such a mellow camber, this has pretty good spring out of the turn. I could make any kind of turn and the side cut didn't fight me on it. I could go straight, long, down the line turns. That's not really where this board shined though, but quick edge to edge turns and then bringing it out medium to medium wide to across the groomer carves, this did pretty well. Even though it didn't have a lot of spring out of the turn, it did well for how little camber it has. When it comes to powder, this is a true twin. You want to ride this with a centered stance. If you do want to set it back with a 22.75 inch stance width, which is super wide for a 56, you can get 1.625 inches back from center of board. If you like to set your board back in powder, this isn't the board you want to get. This is a mountain freestyle board for those who ride switch in powder. And because it has such a mellow camber and so much rocker in the nose and tail, it does pretty well. This true twin is amazing switch. Only thing I like better is ASIM twins, but this is so close. It's great either way. This is the kind of board you can do a little bit of jibbing with. You can take this in a soft spring pipe when edge hold isn't that necessary. This does great with kickers, more small to medium, but you can go big if you're a lighter rider. And overall, the Capita Outerspace Living is still a very fun, very recommendable mountain freestyle board for those on a budget or need something reasonably priced. It's not super cheap, but it's not super expensive either. I think a lot of people who don't see a lot of hard snow or a lot of soft, uneven snow could have a time on this. So there you have it.
Hey everybody, Davey boy here, giving you a big guy's perspective on the Capita Outerspace Living. I rode this board for a couple of days, got it out on some firmer groomers that turned into slushy laps by the end of the day. Rode this with my Burton Ion boots, size 12. Union Force bindings. I am 6'3.5", 250 pounds. This board came in a 161 wide for me. I think I would have liked it if I sized up a little bit. The softer, more playful nature of this board definitely would allow me to size up, and I think a lot of people, if you're in between sizes or you're not sure if the 161 would be quite big enough for you, go for the next size up. This board is playful and fun. It's not going to be hard to handle. And I think having that extra length for a little extra landing gear is only going to benefit you. I thought it was really fun to ride around and pop hop off of. This board, like it says, outer space living. If you're trying to live in outer space, you want to live up in the air, this is a good board for that. It felt very confident tracking into features. I didn't have any real catchy hookiness from the Camber. I thought this board is pretty fun to turn too. You know, it's just kind of soft, and my biggest drawback would be the chatter that it gets later in the day. But if you're a smooth groomer, clean conditions type of rider, and you're not going to be taking a lot of chunky laps later in the day, and you're going to stay in the park where it's kind of smooth, great option. Really good board, nice, fun, and poppy. I think it's a little too soft for me to really want to go to outer space with this thing though. I'm a little bigger on the size spectrum. I like a slightly stiffer board if I'm going to try to hit some bigger jumps. But if you like a softer, more playful park board, amazing option. For me personally, one of my favorite Capita boards I've ever ridden, which is in a similar sphere of this. If you're looking for something that's going to be park freestyle orientated and you want that in your riding style, I love the Indoor Survival. It has a lot more camber than this, which could be a drawback if you're a big jibber, but for me, I'm really not. So the extra camber, the slightly stiffer flex, I had a good amount more pop, and overall it was just a little bit more of a technical board that I thought had a better carve and a little bit more drive out of the turn and a little bit more pop and stability on jumps.